More Twitter?
Yeah. People are talking about consumption and how consumption is the main problem. And actually one person on here who says he watches your show every day also says changing ideology, dealing with materialism, changing people's comfort zones. He says it's like pulling an elephant out of quicksand. Do you feel like indie media is really making a difference after all these years you've been in the business?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, our audience vies in the United States with networks like MSNBC for the number of people, and we may well have more. Because, well, first of all, the internet expands it tremendously. But I think a lot started happening when President Bush didn't find... I was just trying to make out what they were saying, actually. I was trying to think, what is it? Climate justice is what they're yelling, so that's very important. But when President Bush didn't find weapons of mass destruction, it exposed more than him. You know, if he had a little megaphone on the steps of the White House said WMD, maybe some people would have believed him. But he had something far more powerful, and that was the U.S. media that intoned the lies. And the lies took lives, and it mattered. And people across the political spectrum said, wait a second, how did our media get it so wrong? Not the president, not the government, but the media. They're supposed to be the independent check and balance. And so people started looking elsewhere. Well, where can we get independent information? You see newspapers closing all over the country. It's a crisis for journalists. Thousands of journalists have been laid off, and the people who put out these newspapers. But I also think it's more than the internet that's putting them out of business. For so long, the media all too often is sort of really circled the wagons around the establishment. When it comes to war, you are right there with the commander-in-chief. But that is not our job. We may not win a popularity contest, but there's a reason why our profession, journalism, in the United States, is explicitly, the only profession explicitly protected by the U.S. Constitution, because we're supposed to be the check and balance on power. And that means very much running against the current. And I think now people don't feel we can afford what the planet has come to. And we need to go outside that box. Think of it as the TV screen with people who think outside the box. And that takes more than an 8-second soundbite. It takes people like the people here, like the people who you're interviewing. I'm sure as people are watching this, they are astounded. This myriad of voices of genius in different areas, the solutions that are being proposed. These are the true experts, not what you watch on television, right? That small circle of pundits who know so little about so much, explaining the world to us and getting it so wrong. This is why I have tremendous faith in independent media and in what you're doing here today.
Do you think public opinion is changing in North America on climate issues?
It's taking time, but it is. People are afraid. Just the experiences of, just the other day, just watching television, seeing that Oregon, the level of the feet of snow, the hurricanes in New Orleans, that was a true paradigm shift for people. How could it be that in the 21st century, an American city drowns? So I think it's slow. When the meteorologists get on board, it's going to get faster. And I think we just have to build independent media. We have to challenge the corporate networks. They don't get off scot-free, because don't forget, these are private corporations like GE, which owns NBC, or is it Comcast now? I think they just devoured GE. But these are private companies, but they are using public property. And there is nothing more precious than the national treasure that is the public airwaves. And they have a responsibility to bring out the full spectrum of opinion and the issues that we actually confront. So we have to challenge the corporate media to do more, but we also have to build up our media. Democracy Now! Airs, for example, yes, on NPR stations in the United States, on PBS, public broadcasting, on open net channels all over the world, but also on something called public access TV, which media activists fought for. When a cable company comes into town, gets to dig up the roads for the cable, only one gets the monopoly because it would be too disruptive. And media activists fought for these cable companies to have to give back a channel or two to the community. And we can use these precious resources, these really the watering hole of people that's owned by the people to bring out this information. Also broadcasting on Link TV, which is an independent channel on both TV satellite networks in the United States, Dish Network Channel 9410, also on DirecTV Channel 375. And we just have to keep on fighting, because I think the media are the most powerful institutions on earth. More powerful than any bomb, more powerful than any missile, is an idea that explodes into your consciousness, that shatters paradigms. And young people know the power of this. It's not what they say on MTV. Kids have a 5, 6, 8 second soundbite. No way. We will run a speech for an hour, and the audience gets younger and younger, because to take a journey with someone from starting right here and to see how they arrive at such a different conclusion is miraculous. And especially young people are open and curious, and that's the hope.